Good morning. I'll be discussing on the module 2 of the syllabus, biasing of a bipolar junction transistor. Contents of the presentation: basics of DC biasing, then concept of DC load line, Q point, regions of operation based on Q points, importance of Q points, numericals based on this, DC load line, and selection of Q point. Pairing signal. So biasing of transistor here uh, is a common emitter configuration both in NPN and PNP. So in NPN we can see that base to emitter junction is forward bias and base to collector junction is reversed bias. Similarly in this situation also, only in NPN transistors the polarities are changed, rest everything remains same. And in symbol, in NPN the current flows from P to N region, and here it flows from base to emitter region, that is NPN. Mostly the flow of the current is from P to N. Input and output characteristics. This is a revision to the previous discussions in the module 1 topic, that is DC biasing. So slight revision. Output characteristic is a plot between the output current IC and the output voltage VCE, maintaining an input parameter, that is the base current constant, varying from 0 microamperes to 90 microamperes in this particular uh, diagram that is shown, or in this particular graph that is shown. When ICEO is a reverse saturation current which is equal to beta times ICBO. So this is your active region. Region below the base current equal to 0 defines your saturation region. Region just lying near where there is a steep rise in the current is the saturation region. This represents your input characteristics, where after a forward biasing of 0.6 volts there is a steep rise. DC load line. So keynote, the important point to be remembered over here is that the forward bias base to emitter voltage is zero point 0.7 volts. Emitter current is 1 plus beta times IB, which is approximately equal to the collector current. The collector current is also given as a product of the DC current gain to DC current gain and the base current. Fine. Now we have to define a DC load line. So we whatever DC load line you are plotting, we have to do the DC analysis based on the saturation region. So we assume that our common emitter configuration is in the saturation region, and we find out the maximum current that can be drained or can be drawn by a device in the saturation region, and the maximum voltage which it can operate in the saturation region. So in this particular characteristic graph, we are seeing that the maximum saturation current that can be drawn or that can be driven by the device, that is a common emitter configuration, is 10 milliamperes, and the maximum output voltage that can be drawn in the saturation region is 20 volts. So you join these two coordinates, you will get a load line. So this is your load line, maximum collector current and maximum voltage. So when you join this line, you will get a DC load line. Now regarding the Q point, we'll see the discussion in the incoming slides. So definition, a line plotted by connecting the coordinate point VCC on x-axis when the transistor is in saturation region and a coordinate point IC max when the transistor is in saturation region. So Q point, here we see the various locations of the Q point. This is mostly in the closer to your saturation region. This is slightly away from the active region. So now where does this D point lie? If not in active region, not in saturation region, definitely it is lying in the cutoff region. So what are the effects of these three different locations on the input signal that we have to clarify from this characteristic graph? Now you assume a location when the plot we are considering a C point of operation. Here the input signal is clipped in the positive half cycle because the transistor is in saturation region. So we get a distorted output signal. At this particular point D, which I just said previous to few seconds, that the D point lies moreover near to the cutoff region. Therefore what happens is that the signal at the negative half cycle is clipped off and we don't get a complete cycle of the input signal. Now consider this B point which is in the active region, and if we plot a load line, the maximum voltage that can be driven by the common emitter configuration is 15 volts, and we plot a line passing through it at the maximum current of 25 milliamperes. So Q point is certainly in the active region. So here when we are applying an input signal, we get a complete response at the output, but it is having a phase reversal. So this phase reversal is coming from the transistor operation. So in common emitter configuration, we always happen to find that the output is undergoing a phase reversal of 90 degrees with reference to the input signal. So I'll just read out the point, whatever I have discussed. Transistor amplification, the resulting transistor current and voltage decides the operating point on the output characteristic that defines the region for operation. The operating point is fixed on the characteristic and hence defined as an quiescent point. The device operates in active region. The maximum power rating, for defining the maximum power rating, we have to measure the maximum current IC max, maximum output voltage VCC. So power that will be calculated is VCC into ICC. So load line, this is the load line that is plotted. Now what are the various effects of the nonlinear region? here the Q point lie more toward the saturation region. So in the saturation region we see that the input is clipped. Here though it is occurring in the negative half cycle, there is a phase reversal, and that is why whatever signal you apply, you get a clipped signal in the positive half cycle. When the device is in cutoff region, that is Q point lie near the cutoff region, you will find that the lower part of the input signal is clipped. So practical applications, the selection of Q point. If the transistor is in linear region, if the circuit is working in the linear region, you get an amplified signal with a proper response and phase reversal with reference to input signal by 90 degrees. If the linear region, if the device is working in saturation region, you get a clipped signal in the positive half cycle. When the device is working in saturation, when the device is working, when the device, when the device is working in saturation region, you get a voltage clipped in the negative half cycle. When the device is working in cutoff, you get a voltage clipped in the positive half cycle. So temperature stability. Temperature is also a very important parameter for deciding the stability of the device. We already know that the base current and the collector current increase due to the rise in temperature, because the factor, the DC current gain is affected. At the same time, the saturation collector current is also affected, ICEO, because they vary. As the temperature rise, the reverse leakage current, that is ICEO, changes the operating point, and the network or the circuit whatever we are working on is unstabilized due to the movement of the Q point or the operating point, because of the temperature instability, and the circuit becomes unstable. So stability factor also has an greater role for determining the operation of the device, and the stability factor defines the degree of the change of operating point due to temperature variation. Operations of BJT, various operating regions of the bipolar junction transistor. Linear region, base emitter junction is forward bias, base to collector junction reverse bias. Cutoff regions, base to emitter junction is reversed bias, at the same time base to collector junction is reversed bias. Saturation region operation, base to emitter junction is forward bias, then base to collector junction is forward bias. So points that we have discussed till now is the DC operation. What are the various procedures in DC operation? What are the circuits that we will be discussing in the DC biasing? Relation between the transfer characteristic and output characteristic. What is a DC load line? How it is plotted? Then Q point. What is the method for deciding the Q point, and the impact of Q point in the various region of operation, and various region of operation depending on the biasing of the Q point. A simple numerical based on the Q point. So here a circuit will be given and a maximum peak value of the base current for linear operation we have to find out, knowing beta DC is VCE also, which is 6.93 volts. So this will be our operating point. So that is shown on the load line here. So base current peak value will be IC peak upon beta DC. So peak value is 29 milliamperes and beta value is given to you as 200. So peak current is 105. Base peak current is 105 microamperes. So coming to the various biasings of the various DC biasing. So base bias, here this circuit is given, base bias. Why base bias? Because we are applying a external DC voltage for biasing the base. That is why it is defined as a base bias. Now our objective is to find out the various parameters, that is the base current, collector current, and the emitter current. Right? So this particular thing, we for finding out the base current, we apply Kirchhoff's voltage law in this input circuit. This is your input circuit. This is your external output circuit. So VRB, voltage across RB, is IBRB. So VCC minus IBRB minus VB, this whole thing will be equal to 0, and this will give you the current IB is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB. Then apply KVL in the collector loop, which is written as VCC minus ICRC minus VCE equal to 0. This will define your collector current. So these two steps complete your base bias. Then emitter bias in the coming slide. So emitter bias, here resistance RE is connected, so it is defined as an emitter bias. Based on this, you find out the emitter current, apply Kirchhoff's voltage law in the input circuit. So minus VCC IBRB VBE plus IERE equal to 0. Rather, it can be even written as VCC is equal to IBRB plus VBE plus IERE. Fine. So from this you can define the current IB. Current IB, we know universally IB is equal to IE upon beta DC. So using relations, using these above relation, you can find out the emitter current, which is VCC minus VBE upon RE plus RB upon beta DC, which is the current gain. Beta DC defines your current gain. Collector bias. We have to find out the various parameters like base current, collector current, then the biasing voltage VCE. That completes your analysis for collector bias. So apply a KVL in the input loop. So VCC, VC minus VBE upon RB will define your base current. Then we assume that collector current that is measured is quite larger than the base current. So the potential VC is equal to VCC minus RC, and we know that IB is equal to IC upon beta DC. Substitute this equation 2 in equation 1 and you will be able to find out the collector current, that is IC. IC is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RC plus RB upon beta DC. Now coming to find out the value of VCE, this is nothing but the difference between these two voltages, VCC minus VC. So things that you have learned till the last slide presentation is a Q point, position of the Q point, temperature effect on Q point, then stability factor, then biasing of the circuit in DC analysis, that is self-bias circuit you have learned in this presentation, then numericals based on Q point. Of course, in DC biasing you have learned base bias, collector bias and emitter bias.